Now, you might be looking at the title and the thumbnail of this video and you might be thinking, what? What are you talking about? What is this? What are you about to show us? And I just want you all to keep an open mind because this world is hateful. We're supposed to be loving and accepting of all these different people and all their backgrounds and everything they feel inside, right? That's what we've been told by the glorious people who are tolerant and loving on places like Twitter. So keep an open mind while I show you something.
Councilman is coming out as transgender and a woman of color. Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb announced that he now identifies as an Indian American woman. Since that announcement, he's received some support, but a lot of backlash, many calling him childish, despicable, even calling for things like execution. In a statement Webb gave to ITMate, he says, quote, "It is unfortunate that I cannot simply be given the same space and respect to explore my identity that so many of those targeting me demand for themselves. It's possible I may change my mind down the road. The process of identity exploration is complex, and oftentimes at the end of our personal journey, we end right back where we started." Webb goes on to tell ITMate this is just his true, authentic self.
Our family has been receiving violent threats throughout the day from intolerant liberals who refuse to accept my decision to live my life however I choose. I don't really see how an interview will improve the situation. It is unfortunate, but a group called Indiana Progressives has decided to organize hate and harassment campaigns against me and my family by publishing my address and encouraging people to unlawfully congregate at my home. You can read their comments on my public post. I have to look out for the safety of my family, including our 6 children. There are people with serious mental health issues encouraging people who are unwelcome to come to my house. So I think it's best to politely decline your on-camera interview. It is unfortunate that I cannot simply be given the same space and respect to explore my identity that so many of those targeting me demand for themselves. I have announced my position and that has not changed. I do not need anyone to approve or validate who I am for me to live my life the way I choose. I don't feel like an on-camera interview is necessary or warranted. I simply am living my life without concern for what others may think about my own personal decisions. I've recently decided to live my life however I choose to identify, which happens to be as a woman of color. My American Indian heritage is not up for debate, although many would like it to be. It's possible I may change my mind down the road. The process of identity exploration is complex, and oftentimes at the end of our personal journey, we end right back where we started. I hope that in the future, those asking for tolerance and understanding are willing to give it in return, and not just to those who they feel it is worthy of. Nobody has the authority to validate or invalidate any individual who chooses to identify a certain way. To avoid confusion, everyone can continue to address me as Ryan or as Councilman Webb. I will also retain my preferred pronouns of he/him. However, this will in no way diminish my true identity as a woman of color. And when someone found out about this, they decided to say, who wouldn't want to be a black woman? The most disrespected group in American history. But in reality, when you're taking up space that should be for black women, that is problematic. I think he's a non-factor. There are real issues that people need to be focusing on, policies that are going to impact lives. Unless he's writing a policy that is going to harm communities, that shouldn't be our focus. And lady, I absolutely agree with you, because who gives you the right to obsess over a grown adult's pronouns and what they identify as? I've heard for about a year now, as long as I've been paying attention, that we should respect people for what they identify as and the pronouns that they deem worthy upon them. The he, hers, the she, hims, the they, those, the iggy, all of it. We should respect it all. So when someone who decides, hey, I know I'm white, I know I'm a male, I know I'm pudgy looking, if they decide they want to be an American Indian and they want to recognize themselves as a person of color, why is anyone who claims to be peaceful, tolerant, and loving going around sending hate mail, going around advocating to harass this person and their kids at their home address? It really comes down to not really being actually loving or caring, and it comes down to how you feel about a specific individual. Oh, but Leon, this person just out the blue decided this was who they wanted to be, and how could they even think about that at the age that they are at and think it's perfectly acceptable for them to do? In all seriousness, I know political bait when I see it. This is something for someone to spew so that they could get all eyes on their work as a politician, so that they could get a bunch of people riled up about issues that are obvious for people to pay attention to and care about. It's all political bait. And if you decide to fall for it, that's on you. If you're so fixated on trying to keep the peace and understanding what's going on in the world, you're so fixated on a guy who's baiting you to react the way he wants you to react, I'm sorry, but you played the dead man's hand and you lost the game. It is funny that this person decided to do that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more people with bright ideas thinking that this is the way to go. Do I think it's going to be effective as in terms of getting something done in the world? No, but in terms of sparking whatever conversation you want to spark, it could probably start something. It could probably get the ball rolling on whatever issue you claim to be a real issue. But in terms of me and how I see it, this is absolutely fucking hilarious. And I wish more white people would do things like this, because it's funny for me to see white people doing this, because I have infinite white privilege and I have a white person coming out of my ass. So if I have white privilege, you are perfectly acceptable to go around pretending that you're black. Subscribe to the channel. I'm glad you enjoyed all this stupidity. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.